the Grimestreet Grifters versus the Chillblade Crusaders. Let's rock!
Welcome back, everybody. I couldn't be more excited for this one, Admirable. The second wild match for the Hearthstone Invitational. Grimestreet Grifters versus Chillblade Crusaders. And taking a look at their lineups as we get into it. RDU on Warrior, Dog on Shaman, Navi on Mage. For the Grimestreet Grifters, it's Kranich on Druid, Patra on Mage, and Reynad on Shaman. There is some crossover there.
Yeah, the Mage and Shaman are very popular for the wild format. Of course, Shaman has some of the best aggressive cards in the early game that moved to wild during that standard rotation that happened. Tunnel Trog and Totem Column just very powerful, and then Freeze Mage has access to Mad Scientist in a lot of decks, and that is such a powerful card for accelerating secrets into play.
And as you can see on your screen, RDU right there in the middle of the Chillblade Crusaders. He'll be the first player up, and we're going to take a look at his Wild Warrior deck.
Yeah, and Pirate Warrior is one of the big performers in Wild. Due to that card you see right at the top center screen there, Ship's Cannon. That 2-mana card turns all of your pirates into 2-damage blasts right when they come in, and that can get mighty powerful when you have a handful of pirates.
Yeah, you can get the double cannon going. Patches comes out of the cannon, and he shoots the cannon. And for the other side, the Grimestreet Grifters, Kranich is going to be first up for them. And let's go ahead and take a look at what he'll be bringing. It's his Wild Druid deck.
And the aggressive Druid decks gain a lot when you move over to Wild. And one of the big performers is that bottom right card, Jeeves. You empty your hand very quickly with this deck. And if you get Jeeves online, you are drawing so many cards right after those aggressive pushes that the waves keep coming.
Yeah, this will be interesting to see two very fast decks to start things off. Aggressive decks for both players, both teams here, and these are two staples in the Wild meta and have been for some time. So not really too big of a surprise. Yeah, but I was expecting more creative deck building, Admiral.
Well, I mean, as Firebat mentioned, a lot of these guys have World Championship experience, and they're long-term tournament players. They came into this expecting their opponents to do something specific and tried to take advantage of that. Because there's so many combo decks available in Wild, the aggressive decks are one of the best ways to put them on the back foot.
Would you rather win with an uninteresting deck or lose with a cool deck?
Ooh. Which one draws more cards?
Usually the cool decks. But let's get it underway. Mulligan phase for game number 1. This is a best of 3, but we will be playing out all 3 games of the best of 3 because at the end of day 1, game score will matter when it comes to tiebreakers and, of course, the treasure that's awarded as a bonus to the team that has the highest game score at the end of the day. So.
That's right.
First place team at the end of day 1, this round robin phase, moves on to the grand finals automatically. That's what you're shooting for.
Yeah, I mean, even if you win your matches, you want to win all 3 of those games. Get that bonus treasure. Even if you lose the match, a 2-1 score in favor of your opponent will mean that extra game could net you an extra treasure at the end. So big deal for staying out of that elimination spot today.
South Sea Deckhand, turn 1.
Classic.
Deja vu. For about the 548th time.
Today. I love that little guy.
Yeah.
So it's like a pirate squid. I mean,
why wouldn't you love him?
I can't ask for much more.
I love pirate squids.
Yeah. And for Grimestreet Grifters, it's not a pirate-centric deck, but Patches just offers a lot of capacity for getting the ball rolling. And so with their opening hand being as good as it is, that Jeeves already drawn, this isn't the ideal matchup for Jeeves, but in this situation, Chillblade Crusaders have drawn quite a few expensive cards. So if Grimestreet can empty their hand and get that Jeeves online, they could be the ones to benefit first from that and have it be a really big deal. Oftentimes, if your opponent can't benefit from it as well, they need to kill that card. And as a 1/4, it's not a very good target to kill.
Yeah, and this turn 1, actually quite tough. It's all about making the strongest possible board and trying to play around the maximum power that Chillblade Crusaders can deal. I don't know if Blitzcon Corsair wants to come out yet because they may want to save at least one of those until a weapon actually comes out because that's going to be a big deal. And they're just going to go with double 1-drops at this moment. And on the other side, Chillblade Crusaders going to have to pass a turn 2. Let's go and see how morale is. Let's listen in to the Chillblade Crusaders.
They probably, yeah, it's either 2-drop, 1-drop buff. Right, they kept the.
It's a 2-drop, 1-drop buff.
Yeah, 3 cards, so it's probably
2 more 1-drops.
Yeah. Probably like a 1-drop, a buff, and maybe a 2 or something. That's what my guess is.
Deckhand has to trade.
Yep.
And then Patches goes face with hero power pass.
Yeah, it's pretty, feels bad, man, but...
Yeah. 28 turn clock. Let's go.
Yep.
I mean, we clearly have to play for the board.
I mean, Dustbite's pretty sick in this
Dustbite
matchup.
is good, yeah.
Now, our Frost Giant's a 1 mana cheaper now as well.
But I don't know if it's enough. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's not enough.
28 turn clock. That's how long these games usually go.
Yeah, I mean, the Pirate Warrior, their 2-slot in Wild is a lot more filled. You know, in Standard with the loss of Fire Warx, rest in pieces, old buddy. They've lost a lot of their 2-drop power. A lot of times we're seeing Prince Keleseth in that slot because you just don't have to run them. Bloodsoul Raider's really the only one. But in Wild, you do have Ship's Cannon. So you have a couple more 2-drops to shore up that sort of weakness, but they didn't draw one. And this matchup's about the board, Admirable.
It very much is. So the 3-4 here helps. The Despite, as they mentioned, a very big deal in this particular matchup. The aggressive Druid decks like to make a lot of small minions. And when your opponent's making a lot of small minions, what better to take care of that than area of effect damage that can pick off all those 1-health minions. In this situation, they're going to be on defense for quite a while. So I'm curious to see if Grimestreet Grifters is going to be able to take advantage of this Jeeves in such a big way that Chillblade Crusaders just falls behind because they've drawn too many cards.
Yeah. And right now, they have a tough choice. Now, one thing for Grimestreet Grifters is that they don't really have any buff cards. And that's the big thing that sort of lets you snowball these types of fast matchups.
Yeah.
And without those buff cards, you can't really snowball these small minions that are on the board to a victory. You're talking Power of the Wild, Mark of the Lotus, maybe even Savage Roar. Crypt Lord, though.
Yeah, it's a little bit tougher in the face of a Frothing Berserker, I'd say, but still a card that's going to help protect their board and give them time to try to find one of those big buffs. You know, you think about Savage Roar and Power of the Wild and that Mark of the Lotus, those are some of the big payoff cards once you've established that board.
Yeah. Well, Grimestreet Grifters looking like they're discussing quite a bit here, so let's go ahead and take a moment to listen in to the Grimestreet Grifters.
Referring to a full thing.
Wait, what about Corsair hero power full trade?
Well, if he play like that, then he just... It's just pretty interesting, yeah. I think playing on Corsair here is fine. It doesn't seem like having first mate and then... Yeah, sure. I think killing this
like clearing it?
Yeah, killing this is really...
important.
Yeah. So I have everything here.
Yeah. Alright, well,
Yeah.
Despite can clear our board, and that sucks, but maybe we draw AoE buff.
Uh-huh. I mean, at least you can just kill like this. I mean, we can just destroy this spite. I mean, like even though all the like these tokens are dying, but it should be fine.
Yeah, we just empty her.
Not enough, I think.
We have 12, 16, 22. If we get a cultist buff, it's...
Since they don't have a buff, can't we just play for the board, kill the 1-2, and then next time kill whatever minion they play, drop the the Corcoran, sorry?
Yeah, I mean, probably killing the Corsairs, right? Because we have no way to kill it later, and if they do have a buff, we get like mega wrecked.
I mean, they have to draw it though, right? The buff.
Yeah,
The thing is, like, we have so many weapons in our deck, so we can go Death's Bite now, Corcoran next turn, and then just play upgrade whenever we draw our first weapon, which would be quite soon because it's very likely to get another one.
Yeah, just
then we
clear
keep the cultist for when we get the pirate, and then we use the second weapon to just jam their face and get them.
Rap, good.
So let's just clear the pirate.
Yeah.
Words out of my mouth.
And now, even if they have another one, we just like kill the one once anyways.
Yeah. No, I like this a lot because we play Corcoran into probably going to be an empty board, so it should push at least 8, I guess.
Let's just hope they don't draw a buff, which should be like 4 out of 22. Just like...
I like how on turn 3 they're counting damage. It's 22, 23.
Just barely off.
Just off.
Got to play around the buffs.
That's right.
That's something I really like about aggressive matchups, though, is you're often really close to getting that killing blow, but you're just not quite there. But since you're so close, you need to count it and make sure. Oftentimes the matchup turns into this battle for the board, like you mentioned, and the team with the last threat is going to be the one that comes out with that advantage. That doesn't always hold, but the advantage is what you're searching for in these matchups.
Yeah, I'm really interested to see Grimestreet Grifters not play the Crypt Lord there. They could have played it at full health after they destroyed the weapon with their remaining 3 mana. And getting the taunt online early when the Pirate Warrior doesn't have a board allows you to snowball a little bit, because you can start spamming minions on the board. If Honor Creeper dies, all of a sudden Matt gives you that additional health with the board. You're playing the Flame Elemental. It's a big deal. Now they're going to take some extra damage from this Corcoran Elite.
Yeah, and the read from Chillblade Crusaders, very strong. They're like, they just don't have a buff. We don't believe that. And that's a good attack of that Corcoran Elite, because Grimestreet Grifters, you saw how much attention they paid to the Frowling Berserker.
Yeah.
They're likely to do the same thing to this Corcoran Elite as well.
Yeah. And in a few moments, we're going to be coming up on a tough turn here for Chillblade Crusaders. Might have to Leroy Jenkins down this Crypt Lord, but let's go ahead and take a listen in into Chillblade Crusaders and see what they want to do.
Also, if you play Leroy, you give them whelps.
Oh, yeah.
Ooh, that's good, but not for now. I think we just play the Pirates.
Yeah. And we probably have to just punch it,
We
right?
punch it,
We gotta
yeah.
start. We gotta
Yep.
start. Yeah.
And we keep floating for next turn.
Yeah. That just sucks though. This is like a heal for 8. Like, come on. It's gonna be more, obviously.
I mean, realistically, they could just never draw living mana and we can win, right?
Yeah, totally.
I mean,
And we just draw a Reaper.
Yeah.
Like, their hands like innovate.
Innervate. You mean coin?
Oh yeah, coin.
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 Yeah, no Innervates found in this list.
Nope. Innervate has long since been gone from aggressive Druid lists.
Yeah.
Just doesn't pack that much punch. Innervate's, more reserved for the big Druid decks.
Yeah.
When you absolutely have to have something right now. Whereas Aggro Druid usually has a ton of options available to them.
If you're looking at your hand and thinking, you just wait till I get to 8 mana, Innervate may be for you.
Yeah, because 8 mana comes one turn sooner.
Yeah.
But if you're looking at your hand and saying, 6 1-drops.
I wish I had 3 mana. You can wait a turn usually.
Usually.
There's the Jeeves. He's going to help a lot. And that is a 1/9 Crypt Lord. Every time a minion comes into play, that bad boy gets buffed.
Yes, he does. And that's quite difficult. You can see Naviute from Chillblade Crusaders that's going to be a heal 8. Actually, that's a lot more than heal 8, because if they continue to play minions, you're going to go down even further. And now they do have a way to kill Jeeves, but it's a tough one, and it's already gained value.
It's cranking out. It's cranking out some gas, too. That is a nice draw, I think.
It's decent. They said they can fight for the board, but Chillblade Crusaders said that it's going to depend on whether or not the Grimestreet Grifters draw living mana.
It definitely is it's a key one, but this Frowling Berserker is going to be awfully threatening on this coming turn. And Chillblade Crusaders is also about to draw 2 more cards from Jeeves. Jeeves is at the end of each player's turn.
Yeah.
They draw until their hand has 3 cards in it.
Yeah.
And so that's 2 more card draws for Chillblade Crusaders. And then Grimestreet Grifters is on deck, but their cards are fairly expensive right now. So more card draw can come of this, but it's getting a little bit scary. This is the point where the damage from Pirate Warrior really needs to be paid attention to.
Let's go ahead and take a listen in into Grimestreet Grifters to see how they want to handle this coming turn.
So it's just
Yeah, I think we have to Savage
Swarm.
Roar and play
Yeah, Swarm and like Roar and
Yeah.
Isharas and then just
I
buff
agree.
these.
Is it a full clear?
Yeah, it just
This into this.
trades into this and like this into this, yeah. And we also draw like another 2 cards.
All right. I'm fine. Let's do that, yeah.
It's quite
We're making this into the 1/5
Yep.
Renton.
sure.
Yeah.
We could even.
Is that the right one to buff?
This one's going to die. The
Yeah.
Firefly's going to die.
Yeah,
so
okay.
We could buff Jeeves or we could buff the Beast for a draw.
What do you mean? Like,
Let's play that, yeah.
but you have to buff these two,
yeah,
trade
yeah.
into this. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Sorry about that. Yeah.
You're good. All right.
It's kind of really passive, but like,
Yeah, I mean, it's all we can do, really.
yeah.
At least we're getting our cards drawn.
Grimestreet Grifters. It is a passive play, but
I like it.
Yeah, I like it too. It's kind of funny. Reynad's kind of taken a back seat. They were talking about Reynad like he was their leader, but he kind of reminds me. Back when I was younger, I had a new boss at a place of work, and he just kind of tried to act like he was in charge of everything. But me and my coworkers would usually go around and just come up with the most weird things that we could do that he would agree to, and be like, yeah, I think we should do that. I think we should do that. And that's what Reynad feels like. We would go in the back and say, maybe we should set that dumpster on fire. He'd be like, yeah, dude, that's a great idea. Just to try and be an authoritative figure. That's what Reynad feels like right now.
TJ is just describing our time casting together right now.
Maybe we should go set a dumpster on fire. Admirable. But yeah, it's...
Living Mana's a big card here.
It is. And that's why I like the play that they went with last turn. Because they're playing for the board. They're trying to set up for them to have that card advantage. And Living Mana, while it doesn't seem like it, it does sort of give you card advantage because you're spending one card to fill up the board, whereas your opponent's spending multiple cards to get these minions down and to try and fight back. And they are starting to get a little bit low, but comparatively to what could happen, they have a little bit of gas going. But let's count the damage for Chillblade Crusaders going to the next turn. There's a lot.
Yeah, the Arcanite Reaper represents 10 damage over 2 turns. Heroic Strike, that's 4 more. Any of these minions connect, that's 2 damage off. So really close to getting this done. And it looks like Grimestreet's even going to hold the hand back further. So they say, you know what, Jeeves has done his work. We're done with that. We're going to full clear, make 7 2/2s, and say, you deal with it. Now, with the Mark of the Lotus in hand, that is 21 damage on board. And with a second Heroic Strike drawn, I think Chillblade Crusaders actually might lock this game up.
Yeah, there needs to be a taunt. Now, the big thing is, do you just not play the Dread Corsair to make sure that they can't trade off one of their minions and play a taunt? The only taunt that they'd be able to play at that stage would be second Druid of the Swarm.
Yeah.
Because it's the only taunt that costs 2 mana or less.
I think you don't.
Because they're not going to die. Let's see, what could they die to? Double Mark of the Lotus?
Second Mark of the Lotus you're dead to anyway.
Yeah.
In that case. So I like this play. Just armor up and say, go ahead. Do you have the damage necessary? That's not it. And with those 2 Heroic Strikes, that's 5 in play plus 8 from hand. Chillblade Crusaders is going to barely win this game. Holy smokes.
They were counting damage on turn 3. They knew they only needed to draw 1 more Heroic Strike, and they got there. Planning ahead. The key to Hearthstone.
That's why they pay him the big bucks.
That's right. Grimestreet Grifters is going to try and do what they can, but the big decision there was whether or not to play Mark of the Lotus, and
yeah,
not really too much. They're just trying to gain as much health as possible by armoring up.
The hero power protects them from a second South Sea deckhand, plus plus 4 damage, or it protects them from a ship's cannon attack that would just happen to go directly to the face, despite this board presence that's out here. And even considering Mortal Strike as an option here.
Hold the attack.
That is smart, but it's not enough. Chillblade Crusaders has the damage, and they're going to take game number 1.
Drew the damage they needed, and Grimestreet Grifters, maybe the passive play came back to bite them. Hard to say.
It's tough to say. You need to be taking down Pirates and the minions they play, or else you are going to get run over by that small accumulation of damage. It's tough to leave those minions on board when your opponent is unwilling to trade into yours.
And keep in mind, game wins are a big deal as we move forward. It is a best of 3 where we're going to play out all 3 games because game score is going to matter at the end of the day. Game 1 is in the books for the match 2 of the Hearthstone Invitational, but don't go anywhere. More action coming up right after this.
Stray too far away from the fire, my friends. There's more tales to tell.
The 2017 Hearthstone Invitational is brought to you in part by Republic of Gamers, Intel, T-Mobile, and NVIDIA.
There you can take a look at the Grimestreet Grifters getting ready for their match as well. And earlier you saw how well the Jungle Giants knew each other. While we wait for the next game, let's see how well the Grifters did when they played with Frodan the other day, and theirs was equally as challenging.
The rope!
Welcome, Grimestreet Grifters. We are going to do How Well Do You Know Your Teammate? We're just going to ask trivia questions, very simple ones directed at another teammate. If you get it correct, you get a point. If not, we move on. And we'll see if you guys know each other better than some of the other teams here at the Invitation. This is a question for Patra. Who eliminated Kranich from the 2015 World Championship?
I wasn't even around for that time.
Like you weren't even born?
No, I wasn't playing Hearthstone probably, but I'm gonna That's Firebat.
Ooh, well, Firebat was not even in the 2015 World Championship. He won 2014. Tice was the one who eliminated it. This next one is for Reynad. Patra says she cannot live without this drink.
Oh, man.
That's really tough.
Yeah, juice, I guess. Juice from a fruit.
Whoa, that narrows it down a lot, but unfortunately, no. The answer is chocolate milk.
Close. That's basically cow juice.
Well, Kranich. What magazine listed Reynad as one of its 30 under 30?
It's kind of hard.
Business related.
I want to help my teammate.
All right, looks like Petra wants to step in. Phone a friend. Why don't you answer it?
Forbes?
Forbes is correct. Looks like Grimestreet Grifters is on the board. What is Reynad's favorite Pokemon?
That was supposed to be between us, Dan.
I'm sorry, no secrets in front of the camera.
I'm going to go with Charmander.
So close.
Squirtle.
Oh, that was my second choice.
This one is for Kranich. Where does Patra reside?
I think she lived in Philippines before.
Let's finish strong here. This last one is for Reynad. What does Kranich put in his hair to make it so luscious?
Oh, man. Shampoo.
Kranich.
I just put shampoo every day, so probably it's the best answer.
There you go. All right, so we're out of questions. Looks like you guys got a solid 3 out of 6, but you know, good thing that we're not testing on knowledge of each other for the Hearthstone games this weekend, so good luck, guys.
Thanks, man.
Well, the Grimestreet Grifters do know each other better than the Jungle Giants from earlier, but not by much.
See if it matters.
Yeah.
It adds up.
Yeah, it does. We'll see. We'll see if it affects their team communication or if they're rattled by the fact that they didn't know. But let's go ahead and take a look at Patra's Wild Mage deck. She's going to be on deck for game number 2. And looks like it's a pretty classic Freeze Mage.
Yeah, and there's a lot of cards in here that really matter, of course. Mad Scientist gives you a lot of defensive measure versus aggressive decks, pulling out Ice Blocks and Ice Barrier to protect yourself. The Emperor Thorson enables the massive amount of damage that this deck pours out with the burn spells that you see on screen, and Evolved Kobold enhances that mechanism so that you could deliver sometimes over 30 damage in a single turn.
Yeah, and you have extra burn with Forgotten Torch, Roaring Torch. The deck functions quite nicely. It's been refined. And there you can see Dog getting ready. He's going to be the Chillblade Crusaders player for this game number 2. And looks like he's playing Aggro Shaman.
Yeah, and this is a pretty classic deck where the aggressive cards are concerned. Tuttle Trolling and Totem Golem are 2 of the best ones in the game. And Whirling Zap-O-Matic, it's a fairly weak minion by itself, but it's got a high risk and a high reward mechanism attached to it.
Yeah.
With the Wind Fury, if you're able to land the Power Mace that you see, once you've swung twice with that and it buffs a Whirling Zap-O-Matic, that is a 2-mana card that represents 10 damage in a single turn.
Yeah, and Power Mace, the only card that it can buff in this deck is the Whirling Zap-O-Matic. It is the only mech, if I see that correctly. So, I mean, it is just a pretty standard 3-mana weapon nowadays.
Yeah.
3-mana, 3/2. This has the added bonus of, if you have a Whirling Zap-O-Matic on board, kill your opponent.
Ah, yes. I'm gonna go into Hearthstone and build a if it lives, kill my opponent deck.
All the Wind Fury cards.
2 Whirling Zap-O-Matics done.
And a Stormwatcher.
And
With Crazed Alchemist.
And a Flame Wreath Faceless.
That's right. Good old 4-mana 7/7.
Yeah, with Tunnel Trog moving out to Wild, this card really lost a lot of its favor in Standard.
Yeah.
That 2 Overload puts a big dent in your ability to follow up to the minion you're playing. Oftentimes, if your opponent knows that this is a minion you're likely to play, they will save removal cards for it or invest heavily in the board to contest it on that turn. So the Overload doesn't matter as much with Tunnel Trog. In fact, sometimes it's just purely a benefit. That's why it's returned to Wild, and oftentimes you don't see this guy in Standard. Just doesn't have as much of a punch as we thought it did as a 4-mana 7/7.
Yeah. I want to go ahead and listen into Chillblade Crusaders and see how they're going to formulate an early game plan here with aggressive deck.
They kept one. They kept their 3rd card.
Ooh, there we go.
Yep.
Yeah.
This is really good.
What a gamer, dog.
Oh, I'm good. And we're going second, so we get the innervate.
Wait,
Use it wisely.
we get the coin?
No, you're not allowed to touch Navi, I think.
All right.
I think only Dog can touch it.
All right. I think I'm going to play the Whirling Zap-O-Matic.
Yeah.
Just wait, just think about it a bit more, though.
Yeah.
Actually, you should play it fast now. Because it tells them that it's our only option. But we actually...
Yeah.
I mean, it is our only option, but it's not our only 2-drop. This curves so smoothly, man.
It's okay. I mean, we go 2-2-3.
Yeah, it's great.
It's like,
Show me that ping, dude.
Show me that ping.
We can even, if they
Even
play
if they
Doomsday,
play
we clear,
Scientist,
right?
I'm happy. Yeah. We clear everything but Arcanologist, and if they have Frostbolt, so they only have 2.
I don't think people play Arcanologist in Wild, and that's fun.
Well, then it's only Frostbolt then.
If it's Arena list, they'd
Could
probably
be
play
Cannon
Arcana.
also if they play Arena Mist list, right?
So yeah, they killed the 3rd card on in the middle now. That's like the only one they kept. So let's see what they have.
Deck curves out at 5.
What do you think, Grant? We should think about this one. This is important.
Yeah.
I mean, it might be worth the risk, but
Yeah, we have to think about their turn 2 play.
I mean, it's Flame Tongue.
Well, like the deck is full of just
Burn.
damage, so yeah, burn and like weapon. So probably just wait and then like just ping this turn and then Ice Lance and Doomsayer next turn or something.
That's pretty good. Ouch, my face.
Ouchie, my face indeed.
Yep. That about sums it up.
2 mana, 6 power.
And it's going to take 2 pings to kill it off. It's not even over.
You heard them say they wanted to use the Ice Lance to freeze the minion and then to play the Doomsayer afterwards. A lot of times when you play Doomsayer, you just simply couple it with a freeze effect. When Ice Lance moved to Wild, a lot of players speculated that Freeze Mage was not going to be a competitive deck anymore. It really just changed the way the deck plays completely. What we're looking at now is more of the traditional sense of what it was. So much so that Chillblade Crusaders, Dog mentioned Arcanologist, the 2-mana card from Knights of the Frozen Throne where you draw the secret out of your deck. He wasn't even thinking about Mad Scientist, which was the original one.
Yeah.
He just forgot.
He just forgot. And it's kind of better. You sacrifice a little bit of health and it just puts it into play.
Yeah.
You don't even have to spend the 3 mana. You can silence it though. Ooh. That's a deal breaker.
Arcanologist is better.
Yeah. And you can see Grimestreet Grifters goes with their game plan that they were talking about on that turn 1. The Ice Lance into the Doomsayer, and this is going to protect them. They're not going to be able, Chillblade Crusaders are not going to be able to kill off this Doomsayer. They're going to have to give up this board.
Yeah, and with all these weapons in hand, they want to start swinging right away. They don't care that the minions are going to fall to the Doomsayer. They just want to start pushing that damage.
Yeah.
And this is where Grimestreet Grifters gets paid off for that damage that they took a little bit earlier on. Sure, it's a little bit tougher to keep your life total afloat in terms of long term, but right now they have a much better board position. If they hadn't used that Ice Lance Doomsayer, I think they might have fallen out of this game.
Yeah. And as we settle into this early game, let's now go and listen into Chillblade Crusaders. A lot of weapons in their hand. Let's see what they want to do with them.
Make them ping now.
Yeah,
you make
okay. So do we over keep?
Yeah, that's the question. It's only 1 damage, but 1 damage is pretty relevant, right?
No, it's...
I think we just punch and then equip the Power Mace.
Yeah, it's not just 1
We
damage,
have time,
because you missed the 2 that you don't swing with.
Yeah, exactly. So just punch and then Power Mace, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. Seems easy enough. Face. Power Mace.
I mean, if we spike spell power, we have exactly the 2 weapons.
I think we're behind, but...
Yeah, definitely, dude. If they get a barrier here, like...
Yeah. Well, block also. I mean, we'll see, though. You can squeeze through.
You can tell they're trying to count the damage, but there's a lot of things that can go wrong with this plan, and that's basically Grimestreet Grifters drawing any cards. That's what's going to go wrong with the plan.
Or playing any cards.
Or playing any cards.
If there's not a tsunami or an earthquake that stops Grimestreet Grifters from playing anymore, it's pretty bad for the Chillblade Crusaders.
Yeah, that's right.
And it's because of that Doomsayer, that well-timed mechanism of the throwing away of the Ice Lance, so to speak, just to ensure that effect went off more reliably. Big benefit that they got from that clever use.
Now, there's still a lot of cards in the deck that are essentially useless when you're talking about a game that's the damage is being dealt from hand or from weapons, and that's burn spells. If you just have card draw and burn spells, you're not going to get the secrets that you need. Now, they do have a Mad Scientist. They can kill off their own Mad Scientist if they want to, guarantee they draw a secret. They can start pinging their Acolyte of Pain, so they have a ton of card draw to get these big tools. But the question is, can they survive long enough or find the damage they need to kill their opponent before they're going to die? That's the big question.
Yeah, it's actually somewhat of a benefit for them here that they see it Flame Wreath Faceless here, instead of just more damage directly to their face. Yeah, with Chillblade having the Power Mace already online, they're free to try to develop in this situation and get some of that repetitive damage. But here, Grimestreet Grifters has that Fireball, and that is a nigh-perfect answer in this scenario.
Yeah, I'm curious how they want to sequence this with all the card draws. So let's go ahead and take a moment to listen in to Grimestreet Grifters as they move through this turn.
torch seems really awkward.
It seems way worse, right? Yeah, so definitely the fireball. Definitely Scientist fireball.
But do we ping our Acolyte first?
Well, yeah, but the question is, will we spend 2 mana to draw a card, or do we want to throw away our Acolyte and play Doomsayer? I think we want to draw the card.
Yep. Yeah, drawing card is better.
Okay, so start by pinging our guy.
Yeah.
That's just better than Novice. Oh, we should have traded our guy first, but whatever. No justice.
Oh my
We're playing Hearthstone. It's okay. There's no justice.
It's okay. So bad. Just fiber, lemons. Yeah.
Very nice. We said we weren't going to.
I said we weren't going to what?
Make any bad
We're BMing them.
orders.
We're BMing them.
So what is the secret here? You should check. Yeah, barrier is good. I mean, like.
Yeah, that's right.
Well,
It's
just because they're overloaded. Otherwise, we'd be dead to double crackle right now.
Yeah.
Okay, that was a bit tricky. There's too many options there.
Because like they just don't know like what kind of secret it is. So probably they just check where like it's better. So probably they just punch them.
Yeah. I mean, we're at a life total where it's actually relevant.
Yep.
So.
Well, there's actually some upside to drawing first in that situation. Say you want to draw an Ice Block or an Ice Barrier and then get the other secret as well. Right now, with them being at such a low life total, I actually like the drawing first before using the Mad Scientist.
Yeah, it's not necessarily a misplay, especially if you may not have time to draw secrets. And later in the game, you need all of them.
I think it's better to try to draw more secrets first.
Yeah.
Just me.
Hearthstone players have it ingrained in their head to find the guaranteed draw before the random draw a lot of times. But yeah, you're right. But it is a conscious decision that they made to BM their opponent.
Yeah, which is the most important facet of that turn.
Yeah, but Chillblade Crusaders starting to run out of damage a little bit. Just Power Mace and Rockbiter Weapon as burn left in their deck. And Grimestreet Grifters have drawn through a ton of their deck. 13 cards left remaining. They've drawn 7 more cards than Chillblade Crusaders so far this game.
And it's not slowing down.
Nope, not at all.
Now, something that's interesting to note, though, is they really haven't found many of their key cards at all. They have Evolved Kobold, they have some burn spells, but they're missing Alexstrasza, they're missing Emperor Thaurissan.
Yeah.
Those are big tools to unlocking this damage. It takes a lot of time to spend this burn turn after turn after turn. You try to play defense until you can set up those big moments. They still have to draw more cards.
Yeah, I think Ice Blocks are kind of the big deal because those gives you those extra buffer turns. You can launch damage to the face with Ice Block up. And know that most of the time, Aggro Shaman's not going to heal up.
Very rare. You know what? I'm going to play a lot of burn cards to kill my opponent, and then a bunch of healing cards so that they can't do the same to me.
Healing Wave.
Typically not the call.
Can also play Joust cards. Healing Wave and Gadgets and Jouster.
I actually forgot about Joust. Pull a minion from the deck. Whoever's minion costs more wins.
Yes, Joust.
And this is a turn where the weapons very much matter. If Chillblade Crusaders didn't have these efficient weapons to chip away, this game would be in firm control of Grimestreet Grifters. And so they have, again, Doomsayer and Frost Nova to play defensively against the board presence, but they still need to worry about from-hand damage.
That's right. Saw Reynad say before, hey, we're at 14. If that was Ice, well, if it was Ice Block, we wouldn't die to double crackle from hand.
3 to 6 damage chosen at random. When it feels like when you're playing Crackle, it is 3 damage, and when your opponent is playing Crackle, it's usually 5 or 6. But that is a card that is very scary to face down when your opponent is simply trying to eliminate your life as fast as possible.
Yeah. Let's go and listen in now to the Grimestreet Grifters. A lot of options here. Let's go and take a look at what they want to do.
Their crossbow face. Order doesn't matter.
Yeah, of course.
All right, go around our minions, so make sure you don't accidentally drag on them.
Yeah. Don't worry.
Giant touchscreen mechanics. There we go. Ooh. Well.
I mean, like, we have another Doomsayer, but I just felt like it was nice to hold on to the Doomsayer for a short clear.
Yeah, it's really bad for us that they got the 3 damage off without us having a second barrier. That's like the big thing, because now we're in like Ice Block popping range, just burn.
I don't know, probably you can just pop, I don't know, kill him as well. Like, in a couple of turns if he only get ice block here. So it's been pretty close because like if you get ice block here,
It's like ice block.
Do we just die? Wait, check.
Well, he didn't do anything last turn, right? I think they're trying to roll spell power and then play their burn. So basically, we're definitely frostbolting face this turn. The question is, are we just playing a scientist and hoping for the best, or do we want to commit a card to killing our own scientist right now? I think we draw first, but
yeah, I think we draw first. But like, how about just scientist and torch our scientist and frostbolt and novice or blood mage?
So you do want to kill our own scientist this turn?
That's the most safe way, but I'm not sure.
I don't.
Let's start by drawing. Let's start by drawing.
Yeah.
But I could be wrong. How much damage does?
Okay.
Okay, that's way better. Okay, so we just want to naturally play it. Yeah, play the ice block. We want to play the scientist as well. And then I think we frostbolt face again. I just don't want to take damage.
Yeah.
Or we could Thalnos. There's that too.
Yeah, I like frostbolt.
Just frostbolt here. I mean, now we need to get like other stuff. I don't know. Probably if we got like one more ice lance or something, then probably you just kill him.
Yeah.
But I'm not really sure.
Giant touchscreen mechanics. They're playing on giant touchscreens on those stages.
They are, and you hear them constantly worried about the burn damage from Chillblade Crusaders. Rightfully so, but Aggro Shaman does have quite a few situational cards. With the Maelstrom Portal, with the Flame Tongue Totem, you need to have ways that these cards find a use. And so it's tough to hand read against this deck when they've been holding cards because they're either burn or situational cards usually.
Yeah, the burn that Chillblade Crusaders has in the Shaman deck, as we saw earlier in the deck highlight, Crackles, Lightning Bolts, and Jade Lightnings. Those are the 3 burn spells that they have. No Lava Bursts. Decided to go with, some lighter 3-mana cards like Power Mace. A little lighter. A little more damage.
One more.
More damage, a little more time.
If you got a Zap-O-Matic, it's a lot more.
It's a lot more.
Keeps more. That continues to be a problem for Grimestreet Grifters. Now, 8 cards left in their deck. There's over twice as many cards left in Chillblade Crusaders deck, and Grimestreet Grifters has still not drawn a lot of their key cards.
Yeah, they can start pointing damage at the face, though, with Blood Mage Thanos and Evolved Kobold. This Forgotten Torch and this Fireball end up being a ton of damage.
Oh, yeah. And I like the Forgotten Torch first to just go ahead and add the Roaring Torch into the deck as well. That extra card draw right now, in terms of the burn, makes a big difference, as now is their time to start pushing in.
Yeah, now all of a sudden, too, if this board isn't dealt with from Chillblade Crusader's standpoint, they might just die the following turn from a single spell. Fireball, all of a sudden, is 9 damage. Plus these minions on board, that's some chip damage that's going to,
oh boy,
maybe lose them the game. Doomhammer.
With Rockbiter, that's 10. With Flame Tongue, that could push that last 2, but they're facing so much damage on board that I don't think that they're able to do that quite yet.
Now let's go ahead and listen into Chillblade Crusaders and see what they're trying to play around on what could be their last turn.
So like we want to put them
I
low
think we
enough
start
to kill them with Crackle.
Start with Rockbiter on our face. Start Rockbiter on our face, attack their face, and see what it is. I think that's the start.
Are we not using Doomhammer?
Yeah, that's the start. Because then
We might even have
if you
lethal.
equip Doomhammer, it carries.
Yeah. Go face. Okay, it's block.
Yeah. So now we totem.
You want to totem?
We have to Maelstrom it down, right?
Wait, what?
You want to go Doomhammer?
No, you don't go Doomhammer because like Flame Tongue and Crackle proc them anyways.
Okay,
yeah,
so
go Hero Power first.
Okay.
Hero Power first, yeah.
Yeah, I see it. Okay.
And now go like.
We go Crackle first and just hope we don't hit 6,
we can't
right?
portal now.
No.
We're not portaling.
Crackle.
We're just going Crackle.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Yeah, it's
go
Flame
Tongue.
Flame Tongue.
Go, fast.
Yeah.
And Porta.
Yeah, okay, easy. That's fine. That was best case scenario.
Yeah, but I mean, they can just trade off their scientists, right? And they get second block unless they draw it here. But it doesn't really matter because they have the second block.
Well, that's a tough one. I like the way they sequenced it, though. That was pretty good. Unfortunately, it doesn't matter.
It was strong work, but not being able to eliminate the minions on board was the key difference. And at the end of the day, the mad scientist, the evolved kobold, chipping away for extra damage. Very unconventional use of those two cards at this stage.
Yeah, exactly. Lethal for them. And Grimestreet Grifters takes game number 2, ties up the series. So it's going to come down to this game number 3 for these teams.
And that's a really tough matchup for the Grimestreet Grifters there as well. Aggro Shaman does a great job of pouring on damage.
Yeah.
But their hand was heavy and had lots of weapons, and so it took too much time.
Yeah, they didn't quite draw the burn that they needed at the end there. And all that card draw early on from the Grifters ended up being the difference maker. And even then, at the end, they popped the block, but Grifters, if they didn't have the damage, could have traded off Mad Scientist to draw a secret from their deck. Defensively, Alex Straza to protect themselves. They had a couple Blizzards to stall the board. Seemed like they still managed to have a bit of game left, even if they were to, get that Ice Block popped and not have lethal in that last turn.
And I want to go back to the turn where they wanted to trade in the Mad Scientist before deciding to draw cards. When they eventually drew Ice Block, they went, oh, that's a great draw.
Yeah.
Indeed it was.
Yeah.
I liked that they were trying to draw the secret first before they had the Mad Scientist activate and draw it directly out. And that wasn't even what they were trying to do.
Yeah. And you can take a look now at the signing area here in the new hall, the North Hall at the Anaheim Convention Center, where some of the Hearthstone devs are doing some signings. There's a demo station here, the new tavern, the new and improved tavern, as well as the Invitational that's going on here at the main stage. It's pretty cool, and I can't wait, man. This is going to be a good day, a good weekend of Hearthstone. And now these two teams, the Chillblade Crusaders and the Grimestreet Grifters, battling out in game number 3 to see who's going to take the treasure for this match. Then you can take a look at Navi's deck, the Wild Mage.
And it's very similar to what we just saw on the other side of the table here, but Naviute has been known for being a Freeze Mage player for quite some time.
Oh yeah.
The amount of damage this deck can pour out with Frost Bolts and Ice Lances, protect itself and get extra turns with Ice Block, and Emperor Thaurissan to unlock all that damage. You combine that with the Evolved Kobold, and you're looking at 30 plus in a single turn sometimes.
Yeah, pretty much identical to the deck we saw early. Just the Medivh's Valet, I think, is going to be the difference maker in that one. And he's going to be going up against Reynad from the Grimestreet Grifters. And we can take a look at what deck he's going to be bringing to the stage. And wow, it's an Aggro Shaman.
Yeah, and if you wanted to see some crackles for 3, this is the man to watch do that. His crackles are often for 3, but this deck packs a big punch. We saw it on the other side of the table as well. We're flip-flopping the matchup now. But it looks like he's got a copy of Feral Spirit in there as well to give him that little bit of extra oomph alongside Tunnel Trog. The aggressive punch that this deck packs early on, we saw on Chillblade's side, it was weapons. If it had been minions, I'm curious if it would have been that much different.
Yeah. All right, let's get into it. Kind of fitting to come down to a game number 3 to take the match, which is a mirror match of game number 2. Just swap sides.
That's right. It's important to get every single game win you can, though. At the end of play, the team with the most game wins will earn an extra treasure.
Yeah.
Those treasures are how you advance through this tournament. Nice opening hand for Chillblade.
Great opening hand for the Chillblade Crusaders.
Grimestreet Grifters, I mean, Doomsayer is a card you can consider keeping in this matchup. It is a 5-mana card that can't be burnt down. It's not touched by Doomsayer. And it delivers a lot of damage over the duration of its lifespan.
Yeah. That's very true. A lot of players sort of evolved over the course of when these two decks were at the forefront of the meta into keeping the Doomhammer a lot of times. And Grimestreet Grifters, go ahead and do it. I like to keep.
It looks somewhat strange to keep a 5-mana card, but when it's that powerful, it's worth doing.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and take a listen now to the Grimestreet Grifters as they plan out the early stages of this game.
It just doesn't, like, if they play Toning Golem on 2, we're just like, oh, we don't have coin anymore.
We just pass, right, if they play nothing?
Yeah.
Yep.
I don't know, like
Like, how bad is coin ping? Like, I mean.
What do we do then if they coin ping?
Yeah, just Trog again. Yeah, just Trog here.
You think so?
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Not much discussion.
Yeah, we're considering the South Sea deckhand into Flame Tongue, but the presence of coin and then just the hero power to wipe out the majority of that power right away was the threat that Grimestreet Grifters felt from that. So decided to go with the Tunnel Trog, more resilient on board, runs right into the Doomsayer. Damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Yeah, that's going to stop this aggression in its tracks. And I like the hand from Chillblade Crusaders. They have the card draw, they have the Mad Scientist, the secrets. Frost Nova's pretty good to delay damage. Aggro Shaman is one of the decks that, one of the aggressive decks of all time that probably had some of the most damage from hand.
Yeah.
With how much punch their weapons packed and also just how much straight up burn damage they had.
Yeah, you can see the Mad Scientist, how important of a card this actually is. For Grimestreet Grifters, it keeps them from really getting minion presence on board, but at the same time, if you don't kill it, it also chips away at your life total. And that's exactly how Grimestreet Grifters won the last game, was being able to chip away that damage. But if you kill Mad Scientist, you give them a free secret and they play it. I don't like either of those things.
Me neither. Same.
And Ice Barrier was the secret fetched for Chillblade Crusaders, so you can see that the Ice Block is playable from hand. So you can only have one of each secret out at a time.
Thanks, that's admirable.
You're welcome, that's teachable.
And not really much to do here besides just draw cards.
And the thing I love the most, draw cards until you can't draw anymore.
Yeah, and there's one of the key cards that we didn't see in the last game from the Grimestreet Grifter side. They were still able to win without it, but that's Emperor Thorsan. And Emperor Thorsan couples well with card draw, because that's just more cards in your hand that you're going to discount to be able to play a bunch in one turn later on in the game.
Yeah.
Preferably to kill your opponent.
He pre-innervates every card in your hand.
He does. Or pre-coins, however you want to look at it.
That is a strong card. That's not a card you can afford to leave around that often. Even if you are an aggressive deck, that's one of the scarier minions that you can see played against you. But this Patches shooting out of the deck and the Flame Tongue Totem have now provided a ton of presence for Grimestreet Grifters.
Yeah, and I do like the fact that Grimestreet Grifters held on to the Feral Spirits here, because they want to be able to just play Doomhammer on turn 5. They don't want to have to be worried about overload and delay Doomhammer for a couple more turns because they just have too much stuff on them, too many mana crystals overloaded. But I do like the play.
See Dog laughing as they try that second Mad Scientist. That is a tough position to be. Grimestreet Grifters has been under pressure at every stage. Let's hear how they want to handle these upcoming turns.
If we don't hit it, what does he do? He just trades and pings? I guess we don't really care if he pings, huh? Do we?
I think we do kill it. He's going to get the secret off of it anyway. By waiting, we delay. Like, we give him more turns to draw the secret instead of pulling it, but like, we don't actually want him drawing secrets in this matchup. They're actually good cards, so I think it's actually good to thin his deck of the secrets. And I just don't want him trading with our board.
What do you think, Carnage?
Yeah, I mean, like, killing is fine, yeah.
You think it's okay?
Yeah.
So Doomhammer, yeah?
Yep. Doomhammer.
Do we do it first, right, in case they play Medivh's Valet?
Yeah.
Ice block.
Nice sequencing there. Like the Doomhammer online, turn 5.
Yeah, if they kill the Mad Scientist and, say, Chillblade Crusaders that just happen to draw both of their ice blocks, the other Ice Barrier can't come out from the Mad Scientist because they already had one in play.
Yeah.
Is that right? Yeah. Or they popped the Ice Barrier the previous turn and I'm crazy.
They popped the Ice Barrier the previous turn.
You're correct. So if they just drawn all their secrets then.
Yeah.
There you go.
There's the Ice Barrier there, and Lightning Bolt drawn, so there's some of the burn damage starting to be pieced together, but not much.
And Power Mace, unfortunately, stranded in hand at this point, so for Grimestreet Grifters, it's get some minions on board, hope they get to attack. And for Chillblade Crusaders, is this the turn that they feel comfortable playing Emperor Thorsan? They got Ice Barrier, they got a lot of time, a lot of cards in hand. Let's hear how they want to take this turn.
Emperor lands the face next turn.
You want a Torch and Barrier? Why wouldn't we just Nova? Oh, to clear the board?
Yeah. I guess Nova Barrier
anything.
is better, and then Emperor lands.
Yeah, but
What to do?
we're probably getting popped if we play Emperor, so yeah, I don't like Emperor anymore. It's definitely a barrier turn. It's just maybe
Let's
barrier Nova or barrier Torch.
Well, next turn we want Emperor Lance, right? Ideally.
Yeah.
So if we are barrier torch now, we take 2.
We take
And
plus
we'll
the
take
weapon.
4. We're gonna
be
take
at 18, right?
Yeah. So we take 8. We'll be at 18 next
So
turn. Emperor.
we're torching the 0-3. Yeah.
I think I'm pretty sure it's better to. No, I think it's better to. It's better to torch. It's better to torch the flame tongue.
Yep. Yeah, for the charger.
Because we're not going to be freezing next turn, so the flame tongue will push more damage.
Yep. Yep. Yeah,
It sucks shuffling.
Yeah, shuffling's rough. How many cards do we have left in our deck?
We're at 15.
So much damage. This one's getting close. It's not often they have a pretty full hand and decide not to play Emperor Thorsan on 6.
Yeah, that's the board presence from Grimestreet Grifters that's discouraging that as well.
Yeah.
You heard them constantly say, well, we're going to get our ice block popped, and then what do we do? We're at low life total, and we don't have the defense for later on. So they have to deviate away from Emperor Thorsan and look for a better time.
Yeah, the one thing about getting it down early, though, is that you sort of get it out of the way. All of a sudden, every turn from then on out becomes more efficient. They were just worried about the ice block popped and then playing from behind the whole game, which is something that you can't do very well as Freeze Mage. You have to be able to have multiple turns set up for your burn plan. At some point, you have to kill them. You can't just not die for the whole game. At some point, you do have to turn the corner and kill your opponent.
I hope you like my invention.
Well, that Blizzard is a great draw for future turns.
I hope you like
That's
my
exactly what we're going to do is keep drawing. Frost Nova to protect. Land that Emperor Thorsan and then look for a way to attack.
Ooh, Crackle. I'm just really curious to hear how Reynad feels about this Crackle. So let's go ahead and listen in to Grimestreet Grifters.
Fighter bolts.
You agree?
Yeah.
Could we have lethal if we high roll? 7 plus 4 plus 4?
No.
No, we can't. All right, so...
Wow.
Now?
Zero power. We still don't have it, so just take first. I feel like we just
double swing.
Play
and
power mace. Yeah, right.
Do we want to not play power mace so they don't know we have it? It might discourage them from frost bolting our face.
Well, then we have 9 mana and actually all of our cards are fine. It's like other like.
They all cost 4
mana,
or
right?
less. So if we draw like a faceless, we can't hero power as well.
Sure.
I'm gonna play it to not hide the information. I guess I don't know. It might matter the mana.
Yeah.
I like the deliberation.
Yeah, it's a tricky thing to do. If you play Power Mace, your opponent knows that damage lined up. Maybe they can respond to it. If you hold it, though, what message do you send to your opponent? They're likely going to interpret it as big damage anyway.
Yeah. The only card that they wouldn't be able to play, I believe, would be Jade Lightning. That would be burn damage from hand. They were talking about Flame Red Faceless, but likely it wouldn't matter. They're either killing their opponent or developing their board, not trying to do both.
Yeah, at this point, they want to just draw Burn.
Yeah.
Burn is by far their best cards at this point. The minions have done their job. They've just kept pressure on and deviated Chillblade Crusaders off their normal game plan. They're closing in. Chillblade Crusaders still has some defense left.
Yeah.
Looking for Alex Straza, I think, to bolster their life total back to 15 after an ice block pop and hope that their Grimestreet is out of resources.
Yeah, a lot of times that happens. If you pop the block as the aggro shaman, a lot of times you're using a lot of burn to do it. And getting 15 more damage after you've already expended all that damage to pop the first ice block can be really tough.
There's that Blizzard clearing out the whole board. And those are the turns that Navi and Dog and RDU were working towards that entire time. Emperor is still in hand, though. They've wanted to play this 3 times in a row and just haven't found the position for it.
Yeah, very true. And J-Claw's kind of a dead card this turn. The question for Grimestreet Grifters, which was one that the game basically asked them last turn, was, do you want to just recklessly throw burn at the face?
Well, do you believe in 6 on Crackle, TJ? What did I tell you? The unlucky.
Yep.
That's just what it. Like every time I play that card, I'm like, this feels about right.
Yeah.
It's all right.
3 damage for Reynad. That sounds about right. Let's go ahead and listen in now to the Chillblade Crusaders. See if this is the turn that they want to play Emperor Thorsan.
If we bolt Lance now and we draw second Lance, it's pretty bad. So
Well, no, it doesn't matter because it doesn't matter if we draw second Lance.
Yeah, it doesn't matter that much.
Yeah, because we need the bolt anyways, right?
Yeah, true.
Yeah. So it's the same
right,
amount of
yeah,
damage.
because like we'd waste the Lance this turn.
Yeah,
true.
So I think we
so
go
you
for
want
it.
to Emperor Bolt Lance then trade Thanos?
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, no, wait. Bolt Lance. Then
I mean, we
Thanos.
have a Vol Cobalt in our deck, right?
But we need to Frostbolt anyways.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Actually, wait. Maybe we can Frostbolt only.
We do have to Frostbolt.
No, maybe you want to keep Ice Dance for next turn to also freeze them next turn.
No, we don't.
Nah.
We don't.
We just let them pop?
Yeah, because we have Emperor for lethal.
Okay,
so just go for the original play.
So go, Bolt, Lance, and then trade Thanos.
Yep.
See what we get. Okay, that's good.
Really good.
Yeah, just
because we can
Emperor.
Alex and block
Alex
at the
and
same
block,
time.
yep.
Yeah, it's pretty nice.
Yeah, should be GG. Nice.
Wow. Holy smokes, that's a good turn.
That was well executed. They want to evaluate their draw before they played Emperor, but get the maximum amount of damage in. They also counted lethal if Emperor was stuck on the board, plus they drew, say, second fireballs back-to-back.
Yeah.
So I think that's well thought out by the Chillblade Crusaders. And they froze the face as well, and that's going to be a pass. Complete pass over. And that's a huge swing turn because now, as Chillblade Crusaders were saying, with the discount, they can play Alexstrasza and Ice Block in the same turn. Would it have been popped? But it wasn't even popped.
Situational cards. Sometimes they require you to have minion presence to get the job done. And at this stage, they do not have the recovery potential to get past the burn, the Alexstrasza, the pair of ice blocks. Chillblade Crusaders has frozen their way to victory.
Yeah, let's go and listen into the Grimestreet Grifters as they're on their last life. Let's see if they've realized defeat.
2 damage. All right.
Okay, we just concede. Okay.
Unlucky.
That's it, right?
Yeah. I think so.
Hugs all around for the Chillblade Crusaders. Grimestreet Grifters, the unfortunate crackle leaves them dropping game number 3. Both times the Freeze Mage was able to take a win in this scenario. And 2 games to 1, Chillblade takes the series.
Yeah, seems like a really powerful deck for the Wild format. And there's the treasure for the Chillblade Crusaders. Again, each team is rewarded a treasure when they win a match, and at the end of the first day, the team that wins the most games will get another treasure. The team with the top treasures will move on first place in the grand finals. But let's go ahead and move to the stage where Frodan is waiting for a winner's interview.
BlizzCon stage for years. This was your first official match live in front of the audience at BlizzCon. So tell me, how is it to get that victory for you personally?
Feels amazing, man.
Awesome. And Dog, I know that you guys have been talking and laughing a lot and jokes. Is this some of the most fun that you've had playing Hearthstone when you kind of think about it?
Yeah, I mean, team events are like always super fun. You just get to like hang out and, I don't know, it's just evaluate turns together and make little jokes. It's fun.
Awesome. And what's been the highlight for you, Navi, so far? I mean, it's been one match in. There's still a lot to be played. But in terms of just playing the Invitational, what's been sticking out to you?
The thing that stuck out the most to me is definitely just like the banter like between teams, like backstage, like even like production and media yesterday. Like, yeah, I think like even though it's a pretty casual like environment, like everyone really wants to win.
All right, well, it seems like these guys are all business, but they're definitely having a lot of fun, so congratulations on your victory. But we're just getting started in the day, so good luck in the rest of your matches. We're going to send it back over to TJ and Admiral on the desk.